Hello and welcome to SCHALE Raid Tactics. This video will cover Insane Perorodzilla. If you prefer reading text, I have document guides written by myself linked in the description of this video. Otherwise, I'm Kozu, and thank you for coming. Before we start, this video assumes you're already familiar with the raid on Extreme and below. To keep this video succinct, I will only discuss the differences between the lower difficulties and Insane. Peroro has gone through a number of adjustments which have changed the way you approach the boss. Now that it has an absurdly bloated health pool, engaging with the new mechanics is mandatory to completing this raid. Fortunately, these mechanics are easy to play around and the team building actually has more variety compared to the lower difficulties. Let's start with the passive changes. Perorodzilla now deals Mystic, aka Blue, damage. Blue armored tanks are most definitely removed from play. Blue armored DPS with short range are unlikely to survive for a very long time, but those with longer ranges can last a bit longer with some assistance. It's recommended to bring yellow or red armored students for the best chances of survival. The changes made to Peroro's active skills are a bit more exciting. Firstly, the eye laser will now explode and deal AoE damage if the target still has the defense debuff on them. This explosion is fan-shaped, originating from the debuffed student. This damage won't kill yellow armored DPS students, but it will likely kill blue or red armored ones. To prevent this explosion, simply cleanse the debuff, which you should have been doing anyway because you cannot normally survive the laser with the debuff active. The laser will also not explode if the target is dead, so decoys also work. Under regular circumstances, you won't ever see this explosion. This mechanic solely exists to prevent you from direct tanking with powerful single target heals, which was a fairly common strategy in lower difficulties. You could still heal tank if you wanted to, but just be very careful of where your tank is positioned as you don't want to accidentally murder your back line. Perorozzilla's main mechanic, in where it summons Peroro minions, has gone through many changes. The summoned Peroros now have varying amounts of HP. How much HP they have is indicated by a buff above their heads. This ranges from 1 heart, meaning they have the base amount of HP, to 3 hearts, which has 3 times as much HP. Alongside the regular Peroro minions, there are also now shiny Peroros. These will explode when knocked down, dealing 200,000 true damage to all other Peroros in a small area around it. There are 2 reasons why you want to knock down as many shiny Peroros as you can. The first is this true damage will count towards the boss's HP bar, making it a major contribution to your overall damage. The second is that shiny Peroros do not contribute to the groggy bar, only regular Peroros will increase groggy. But the regular Peroros are extra tanky and difficult to kill because of their HP buff. As such, knocking the shinies will help with knocking down the tankier Peroros. Failing to knock the shinies down is a massive DPS loss. You will struggle to clear the raid if you ignore this mechanic. The waves themselves also look slightly different. Wave 1 spawns with 2 regular Peroros on each side, and 1 shiny Peroro moving left and right between them. The Peroros on the right are tankier than the Peroros on the left, and all the regular Peroros do not move. Wave 2 spawns with 3 regular Peroros on the back left, middle right, and front middle. The Peroros at the back are the least tanky, and the Peroros at the front are the most tanky. These regular Peroros also do not move, but the shiny Peroros which have spawned in the back and middle row do move. In order to successfully knock down the entire wave, you must plan out which Peroros you will knock with your skills and which Peroros you will knock using the shiny. For example, because the Peroros on the right are tankier than the ones on the left in wave 1, you might want to focus your AoE abilities on the squishier Peroros on the left, and let the shiny explosion knock down the ones on the right. This will minimize the amount of damage you need to do to knock the whole wave down. In the second wave, you can make 1 shiny Peroro knock the other one down when they are passing each other. This will in turn knock the entire wave. Normally, you would have needed a lot of damage to knock all 5 Peroros down on time, but doing it this way, you only need just enough damage to knock down a single shiny Peroro. These are just one of many ways to manipulate and maximize your damage dealt per wave. How you do it will depend on your roster and your preferences in timing and positions. That is all the changes made to Peroro Insane. Up next is the team building. One thing to keep in mind as you watch is that over time, the best units you can bring to a fight may change over the course of the game's life, but general team building principles don't really change. Thus, I recommend you pay attention to the roles you have to fill out on the team rather than the units themselves. With that said, in order to handle insane Perorodzilla, I will recommend to have on your team at the minimum, at least one way of dealing with the laser, at least 2 AoE, 1 shiny hunter, and 1 tank. The ways in which you can deal with the laser are the same as Extreme and below. If you manage to clear Extreme, you should already know how to do this. AoE units are self-explanatory. You need these to deal as much damage as you can to as many Peroros as you can. However, be careful with deploying blue armored students. Without assistance, these students are guaranteed to die during the transition halfway through the fight. Having a unit dedicated to hunting shinies is extremely valuable. These students are usually single target burst damage dealers. Technically, you don't need a shiny hunter if your AoE students are extremely powerful and can knock the shinies without help, but having one on the team anyway gives you a bit more breathing room in your skill management and rotation. The tank role is also self-explanatory. After, fill in any of the remaining slots with whatever DPS or support you see fit. That's all for the team building. With the exception of the shiny hunter, the team building principles for Insane are basically the same as Extreme and below. The difference in Peroro isn't really in the teams, but rather in the gameplay and how you choose to aim your skills and manage the cost bar. There isn't really a way to teach you how to play your roster effectively, but there does exist one strategy that could help ease the pain of team building and body throwing. Dedicated shiny hunting. If you ran out of AoE students in lower difficulties, your chances of clearing Peroro are basically gone. But in Insane, hope is not lost because of the shinies. Building a team purely for the sake of only knocking down shinies is a viable way to finish the raid after you have exhausted all your AoE options. Simply load your team with single target damage dealers and farm as much of the 200k explosion damage as you can. A team dedicated to shiny hunting can potentially deal up to 3.6 million true damage, not including the actual damage dealt by your students. But be careful that there is an upper limit to how many times you can do this, because you can only run as many teams as you have students that can help you with the laser. That is all for the Perorodzilla Insane guide. In my opinion, Insane is a good improvement on what is already a fair and well designed boss. Of course, the roster requirements are on the steeper side, but the gameplay elements in the boss helps encourage all kinds of unique solutions to its defeat. If you look at the top 10 rankings for when this boss has been run on JP, not a single player has run the exact same setup as another. This is incredibly impressive, especially when some other bosses in the game are known to be very monotonous and stale. Anyway, it's best that you try this boss for yourself. Good luck and have fun.